I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight the stars and cars of the Sim Racers Club Premier Series going to take on No Limits Texas. The Texas Motor Speedway, 1.46 miles, located in Fort Worth, Texas. My name is Chris Graham. It is a pleasure to have you hanging out with us here this evening, and we're looking forward to a fun night of racing here. Got to thank Gary Godso and the team from Race First for their assistance a couple of weeks ago with the run at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Andrew Moore Jr. picking up the win by 0.4 of a second over Johnny Avila. Colton Harvey, Will Wursler, and Troy Haight rounding out the top five. Just a couple of minutes left in practice here. We'll give you the rundown on, well, quite frankly, where everybody sits in the standings and all that kind of fun stuff. Hopefully going to be joined in the booth tonight by Patrick Byrne. He's a little bit behind schedule here. We'll see if Bizzle's able to join us in the booth with us this evening. But heading into tonight's race, Johnny Avila with a 23-point lead over Colton Harvey. Only 1 point back is Kevin Dick in third, and it's only 35 back to Will Wursler fourth, 45 back to Andrew Moore Jr. in fifth. This is really going to turn into a shootout here over the next handful of weeks. Let's pick up some of the action here heading down the back straightaway. Kevin Dick and trying to see who else that is coming down off of pit road. Looks like maybe the 83 of John Moeller getting out onto the racetrack. Also saw the 43 of Richard Fletcher on the speedway. The cartoon Anvil makes a return. Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner on the side of that machine. That is fantastic. Get you the look overhead here as they head down the back straightaway. Let's do this. Right before they get to qualifying, I'm seeing Patrick popping into the room here. Let's take a quick break here for just a second. We will be right back. You are watching the Sim Racers Club right here on the National Racing Network. All right, everybody, there we go. Now we're back here with the Sim Racers Club. Sorry about that. Down to just a minute or so left in practice. Troy Haight going to be your quick timer, and I'll tell you what, Patrick. Well, let me get your feet up here. This race is going to prove to be a little bit interesting, I think. You only have 2 sets of tires, 2 completely different ends of this racetrack. Managing the tires and the sequencing of pit stops is going to be very, very important here tonight.
Yeah, Texas, especially on iRacing, is a very, very abrasive, very loose track, and you end up just chewing off that right rear. So with only 2 sets of tires, it's going to be a Formula Drift event by the end of this thing.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. Quite frankly, some of the issues we've seen in the real world may be popping up here on the iRacing platform tonight. That really comes into play, especially with a fixed setup, when you really have to try to manage everything. And it's not as simple as, I'm going to tune the car for the way I want it. You've really got to work to make these tires last.
Yeah, you got to be really, really gentle on the throttle application. You got to be very smooth with all your steering. And most of all, you got to make sure to just keep the car in check. One thing I've seen some drivers do, especially in the Indy cars here, is they'll crank way more steering into it than they need towards the end of the run. Just try and wear the right front a little bit just so the car kind of balances itself back to neutral. It makes the car a little bit slower, but I'd rather be a little bit slower than spun around backing it into the wall.
Yeah, that's going to be the key here tonight is managing that oversteer, especially at the exit of turn number 2. Quite frankly, turn 4 can be a bit of a mess as well, but turn 2, you exit significantly flatter. It transitions a little bit firmer. Going to be an interesting one to watch tonight here for sure. Qualifications are underway. Let's get you the tower up here on the left-hand side so you can see where your favorite driver is running tonight. Hunter Waters is going to be the first driver to tip the clock here in the Hunter's Fried Pickles number 7 machine. I'm proud of you, Patrick. I gave you a shot to make a pickle joke, and there just wasn't one there. Well done, sir.
No, I'm going to wait till we go green for that.
Yes, that's
green like a pickle.
There it is. All right, everybody. Now that we got the first one out of the way, want to remind you, check in on the social medias. We can get your comments up here on the screen, and we look forward to chatting with you over the course of the night as well. Seeing Clay Kennedy checking in with a Let's Go WWR. Kevin Dick going to be fastest on the speed charts thus far at a 30.08. 30.31 with a 1 for Tim Knott. Excuse me, choking on myself over here already. Now Johnny Avila going to move up to second quick. 30.08 with a 6. Tim Knott back to third. Brad Allison, Daniel Pinkston, the top 5. Let's pick up Johnny Avila as he's making his way down the back straightaway in the Bulldog Roofworks number 63. Kevin Dick, new quick time, 29.814 to close out his run. Brad Allison up to third. Tim Knott, still Daniel Pinkston there in the 5th position. Lap number 2 for Johnny Avila. It's quicker, but not quick enough. 29.83 to a 29.81. Great lap for Max Williams. He clocks into position number 3 for the YJ Esports entry, already down the back straightaway on lap number 2. Tyler Seville is back in action and back in play. And I'll tell you what, that number 11 machine ripped off an absolute heater on lap number 1. 30.004 seconds. Max Williams, second lap. Going to improve slightly, put him up to third. We'll pick up Tyler Seville in that number 11 Cocktail Breast Cancer Awareness Toyota. Lap number 2 on the board, and he goes third quick, 29.86. Good laps there. Pick up the 28 of Troy Haight as he heads down the back straightaway. 19 cars on the entry list have yet to see Colton Harvey, Tony Patton, or Mike McConville. Patrick Desaulnier moving up to 5th quick. Nice lap there for Patrick. Troy Haight jumps up to position number 3. 29.848 seconds on the lap time. Just about everybody has taken their laps. They've completed their runs. Back to 16th place, Hunter Waters. Let's see, Tony Patton just now getting out onto the racetrack in his number 86 machine. lap number 1 about to go on the board here for Tony Patton. Will Wursler pretty quick there, up in the 6th position at a 29.972. Looking for a quarter of a second. Got to go all the way back to 8th place, Thomas Wilhite. We see lap number 1 coming up for Tony Patton. Going to be good for 16th quick. Colton Harvey making his way out onto pit lane. Still about 5 minutes left in the session. So plenty of time for Colton Harvey and Mike McConville to get their qualification laps in. While we have a minute here, let's get lap number 2 on the board for Tony Patton quickly. Patton going from 16th to all the way up to 9th. Good lap for Tony Patton at a 30.199. Have to say a big thank you to all the presenting sponsors of the Sim Racers Club, including SimSpeedShop.com, putting up an NASCAR style wheel for the overall champion of the season. Spring and fall champs picking up a button box, 3 additional button boxes going out the door for the safe driver draw. As we have Colton Harvey on the racetrack, so we'll pick up the 36 machine here as he works off into turn number 3. Also have to thank Northland Leisure, putting up the cash sponsor for the stage winners. Realty Executive Saskatoon, the cash awards for the fastest lap of the race. Also Custom Paints and Diecast, putting up the money for the hard charger and the biggest loser awards each week. Lap number 1 for Colton Harvey, only going to be good for 14th quick at a 30.520. We'll see how that's going to impact his run here over the course of the night if he's not able to get any closer into the top 10. Also, just now seeing Mike McConville getting out onto the racetrack. After the off week last week at Bristol, or following the race at Bristol, Texas, Talladega, Charlotte, and Martinsville coming up on the schedule. Colton Harvey jumps up to the 5th position with his qualifying lap. 29.908 seconds. A Jeff Gordon throwback, I believe this is, on the car of Mike McConville.
That scheme right there is actually my desktop background on my computer. I just took the image straight from Trading Paints and made it my background. It is a Jeff Gordon throwback, and I have the diecast of this car.
Of course you would. Off of turn number 4.
I love that scheme.
Lap number 1 is on the board for Mike McConville, and it's going to be 9th quick at a 30.046. Let's see what Mike can do for lap number 2. He is the 19th and final car to go out here in qualifications. Definitely knows how to get the paint scheme some airtime. We'll say it that way. Off of turn number 4, checkered flag will go in the air, and that will conclude qualifications. Lap number 2 for Mike McConville is no faster, still at a 30.017.
You know, I might be tempted to trade my next-gen Mustang in for a next-gen Camaro if somebody paints the Phantom Menace Jeff Gordon throwback on the new ZL1. Any painters out there listening, please do. I'll even commission it.
Yeah, I don't have the time for that.
Either that or just a Jar Jar Binks themed car. That'd be cool too.
Sure. For the Star Wars nuts in the crowd, anyway. Down to about a minute and 20 seconds or so left in qualifications here. And I'll tell you what, Patrick, the heavy iron is at the front of the field. Tyler Seville, we can't count him out. Seeing him back in the running here. It almost becomes a battle within the battle for the whole race here. Andrew Moore Jr. towards the front of the point standings, picked up the win a couple of weeks ago. He's going to start 15th. Hunter Waters starting 19th on the grid here tonight. Outside of those two guys, the names we expect to see at the front are going to be at the front. How does that kind of play into the thought process and the execution for the drivers when they're trying to work out strategy plays? Who do you want to work with? Who do you want to avoid? I would imagine there's a lot that goes into play there.
I definitely want to avoid that safer barrier. That is number one above all. Forget the cars on tracks. You hit that wall, your night's done. Secondly, it's just a game of preserving your tires. You want to save that second set of tires for as late as you can use them, because if we get a late race caution, you want to have those to be able to put them on and just go full rip around this place. In the Gen 6 car, you could do this track almost flat out on a fresh set of tires versus heavy lifting and maybe even some braking on some worn out tires. So huge advantage if you could save those tires right up to the end.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the opposite of a short pit. I think we're going to go long this time.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because where the stage breaks are going to happen here tonight, at Texas lap 30 and lap 65, we are still waiting to hear from race control on whether we will have a caution flag tonight or not. But that really is going to come into play, because you're talking 117 lap race. You do some spitball math, you're talking, 35 laps or so is going to get you to the end, 38 laps, whatever the number is. If the caution's at the end of stage one, now you got to make the tires last at least to the end of, to the end of stage two, farther than that, before you would make your second stop. If you get the caution at lap 65, you may not come in for tires at all. You may not stop under that break. So it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers decide to play that out.
We just got word of when the caution will be.
Well, and
it'll be never.
Yeah, it'll be, at least not for the stage break. Stages at lap 30 and lap 65, no cautions. That's going to be absolutely wild here tonight. As the field's going to form up, let's show you the lineup here and get you ready to roll. Kevin Dick on the pole with a lap time of 29.814 seconds. Johnny Avila only 22 thousandths back in a lineup outside of row number 1. Troy Haight and Tyler Seville on row number 2. They will be tailed by Colton Harvey and Max Williams. Will Worsler, Patrick DeSaldier on row number 4. Row 5 will see Mike McConville and Thomas Wilhite. Tony Patton and Brad Allison on row number 6. Row 7, going to give us Tim Knott and Daniel Pinkston. Row number 8, Andrew Moore Jr., the 77. John Moeller in the 83. Row number 9, Joshua Morris and Richard Fletcher. All alone on row number 10 will be the 7 of Hunter Waters. Field already working their way through turns 3 and 4. Laps are going to come at us hot and heavy here, Patrick. We'll see what the cards are going to play out. But first, as always, race fans, the start of the Sim Racers Club here at Texas. Start of this one's going to be all yours. Lap number 1 goes on the board, and it will belong to Kevin Dick, followed by Johnny Avila, Troy Haight, Colton Harvey, and Max Williams. Tyler Seville losing a couple of spots there on the initial start of the race, and he's actually locked in, was locked in a tight battle with Will Worsler, but Conville following closely in tow as well. Oh boy, Tony Patton's on the struggle bus right now. That 86 machine up one position, but good Lord, was he loose at the entrance to turn number 3. Side-by-side battle just back behind. Tim Knott looking to the inside of Thomas Wilhite. Kind of what we would expect to see early on here, Patrick. If you can make a move, make the move, but you're going to have to settle in line and start conserving tires.
Yeah, you kind of wait for that door to open itself up. You want to keep yourself right there to where if it opens, you can jump right in, but you don't want to be forcing that door open just yet.
Yeah, and quite frankly, we saw this a handful of weeks ago with Kevin Dick. He ran off and he was hiding, quite frankly. And then everybody seemed to fall back into him as his tires went off late in the run. Everybody else was able to catch back up, and really the strategy came back to bite him. Seeing him stay a little bit closer to Johnny Avila here may be a case of I'm going to do enough to keep the lead, but not enough that I'm going to try to check out on everybody.
Yeah, this is definitely an Alain Prost mindset track where just do the minimum required to win and nothing else. If you try to overachieve, you're going to underachieve.
My goodness, this is a dogfight back here. Patrick Desaulnier, Tim Knott. Also going to have Andrew Moore up on the outside of the 19 of Thomas Wilhite. 77 sliding backwards just a little bit. Gained 2 spots very early on. Another man on the move early is Hunter Waters. The fastest pickle in the South, picking up 4 positions already. Moving ahead of Daniel Pigston, Joshua Morris, John Moeller, and Richard Fletcher. I can honestly say I'm a little bit surprised at the quantity of action that we're seeing here. A lot going on early in the race. I know you want to try to make up some ground early, but we've already gotten to the point now where we're 7 laps in. You should have a pretty good feel of where things are by this point.
Yeah, right now it's time to tick off some laps and keep yourself in one piece for the end of the race. It's not time to go out there running 2-3 wide for laps at a time trying to fight for something.
Go on board here with Mike McConville.
Oh, we got the graphic working.
Yes, the graphics now work. The graphics provider updated the software. So now we can see cars, helmets, and stylized numbers there on the bottom of the screen. Hopefully help you identify that. At least who we're on board with a little bit better.
Oh, that is fantastic.
So as we start to settle things in a little bit here, let's take a look up to the front of the field. Your top 5 have broken away. It's going to be Kevin Dick, Johnny Avila, Troy Haight, Colton Harvey, and Max Williams. Harvey having to look down to the inside of Haight down the back straightaway. That's the fight for the 3rd position. He's going to get the job done. And Max Williams, thank you, sir. May I have another? He's going to come through as well, up to 4th. Oh, 90210 is already checking in here. He must have gotten the notification that we were on the air this time. And Richard Smith checking in as well, giving a shout out to Showtime Racing and Tony Patton. Thank you all for checking in. We appreciate it. Question coming in here. I think we may, we got time now. We can talk about it. Where do you think Danny Rick is going to end up next year? V8 Supercars, IndyCar, just a year off? I saw the tweet from Romain Grosjean after Daniel Ricciardo not only showed up to the race at Austin on horseback, but with the horse as his invited guest for the day. Horsey McHorseface was the name on the credential for the horse. Grosjean tweeting, Danny Rick is perfect for IndyCar. I agree. I don't think we're going to see it, unfortunately. He is no fan of the ovals unless McLaren does something weird to do like a road course only program for them. I just don't see it.
You know, I would say IndyCar needs more American faces. It's an American series, you know, get some representation. I am okay with substituting Danny Rick here. He is the most American, non-American in racing right now. I mean, he shows up to the race in Austin on horseback with a cowboy hat.
And an American flag print shirt. Oh, buddy, little bit of contact. Patrick DeSalvier. Oh, hold on to it, boys. Wow.
What a save by everyone there. They wrecked 5 race cars and didn't scratch one of them.
Yeah, they junked a bunch of stuff, and I don't know how we didn't wad it all up. Let's take a look here, see if we can go back. Oh, man, and Colton Harvey's on the charge while we're looking at that one as well. We were watching that mess happen. Let's take a look here, see if we can get the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay up for you.
Great overhead view of the 86.
Yeah, great view overhead, but I don't know how they did not junk a ton of race cars there off of turn number 4. Oh, man, let's go back to the live view here. Daniel Pinkston having some issues as well. Let's take a look here and see what happened to the 22. Hunter Waters right up behind, got a little loose. Oh, buddy. Again, how did they not wreck these race cars? What a save, Daniel Pinkston.
Hunter Waters really threw Pinkston into a pickle right there.
And he didn't get the unsafe pit entry. I don't know how.
Talent. That is being aware of your surroundings and knowing, oh no, avoid that pit lane, and dirt tracking it all the way back to turn 1. That was fantastic.
90210 giving us a big wiggle in the comments.
Oh, yeah.
that was twice there were big wiggles going on. Slide back a little. Too. Yeah. Tony Patton inside of Thomas Wilhite. Looks like he's going to get that pass completed. Andrew Moore Jr. is just not feeling it tonight. That car is, well, not moving much here from the 14th position. Still up 1, but man alive, that was close. Let's take a look a little bit further up the field here. Pick up Will Worsler, Mike McConville, and Brad Allison. One of the better battles on the racetrack right now. Uh, 90210 calling it magic. Some call it grip hacks. We'll see what's what, but good Lord. Impressive saves early on in this race. Thomas Wilhite's got a handful off of turn number 4. Allowed Andrew Moore Jr. to close right in. He's going to have to look down the outside as they get to turn number 1. Is that a little bit less ideal of the spot to try the outside pass there, Patrick? Only because it's more of like a Michigan or California type corner. Real wide, definitely a little bit flat. 3 and 4 kind of feels like that might be the easier place to run the high line.
Definitely would be easier to run the high line, but if you're trying to make a pass on somebody, turn 1 and 2 is definitely where to get it. Just because the exit out of 2 is so critical. If you're on the high line, you kill whoever's on the inside. You kill their exit to the corner. You can kind of get them going into 3 and hopefully seal the deal by the time you exit 4.
Oh,
hang on to her!
Wow, Tony Patton with a big old save. That was a big wiggle off of turn number 2. Good Lord, 21 laps in. This has been intense thus far.
This is what we were talking about in pre-race. It's real easy to get that car just a little bit sideways, and every time you do that, you're taking laps off your right rear. Let's call it every save that you have to make, you're taking 5 laps off that right rear. It's detrimental. It can ruin your night instantly. So you got to keep the car in check.
Slide a little bit further forward here. We'll pick up Max Williams and Tyler Seville. making their way off to turn number 1. Battle for the lead is not so much of a battle right now, sitting at about 0.4 of a second. Seville able to clear easy as they get to turn number 3, and Will Worsler going to use that momentum boost through 3 and 4. We'll see if he's going to be able to attempt to pass into turn number 1. Quite close enough to attempt it that time. Daniel Pinkston making a stop on pit lane after what appears to be another off-track excursion. So Pinkston now being scored a couple of laps down. Up towards the front of the field. Don't look now. The battle for second is heating up. Colton Harvey's going to have to hold off Johnny Avila. Down to 6 laps to go here in stage number 1. Definitely the points race is really going to start to come into focus here over the next handful of weeks, Patrick. We've got the wild card next week at Talladega. Follow that up with the Charlotte Oval, Martinsville Speedway. Then we hit the off week for Thanksgiving. There's only 3 weeks left in the season after that. So this 4-race stretch of Texas, Talladega, Charlotte, Martinsville, that's going to be really important to deciding where this championship winds out.
Yeah, you really have to be on your A game and just focus on consistency at this point. Especially someone in Johnny Avila's shoes. Sure, you can fight Kevin Dick to the end and maybe win it, maybe bin it. Or you could finish second here, finish second next week, all the way to the end. And sure, you haven't won anything, but you got the most points because you were consistent. And that's why in racing it said you can view a whole season, you can't view a whole race. You can't view races by themselves because at the end of the day, it's not the win that matters. It's being able to consistently finish at the front of the race.
Taking a look at the numbers, Johnny Avila over the last 5 laps, about 1.5 tenths quicker than Kevin Dick, and he was about 2.5 tenths quicker than Colton Harvey. So Hunter Waters, Tony Patton doing battle back here. Let's slide back, pick this battle up as we're on lap number 27. Andrew Moore Jr. up to the 11th position. Waters and Patton swapping the 13th position back and forth here as we get late in stage number 1. Man, that battle settles down. We've got another one here. Oh, hold on to it. Max Williams way loose off of turn 4. He's going to hold on to it. Stays out of the racing line. What a save, Max Williams. Going to lose a bunch of spots in the process. He wrecked. He just didn't finish the job. Man, you can tell. We're 28 laps in, and these guys are hurting on tires. They're going to have to go, let's see, let's do the maths here. 39 laps if they want to make it even segments. You got another 10 laps to go on this set of tires. Yeesh. In times of price gouging and tire shortages, Sam and the Jordans, the admins of the league, doing a nice job keeping the tire bill down for the race teams. But, man alive, Hunter Waters coming around Patrick Desaulnier as well. It really is difficult to make the car last that 2 stops. Quite frankly, I think it's a defining feature of this Sim Racers Club League. You don't get that extra set of tires that you just go, oh yeah, this is easy. We're just going to split this up and no big deal.
Yeah, if you had unlimited tire sets, I'd imagine people would be pitting in the next 10 laps, just taking the undercut and throwing tires on them. It's definitely faster, but it takes a lot less skill than it does to sit here and be patient and not burn your equipment up.
Kevin Dick picking up the win in stage number 1. How about Daniel Pinkston up on the outside of the racetrack? He's on 9-lap-old tires. Last lap, 31.17 to a 31.84. Excuse me, that's the 5-lap average for Daniel Pinkston over Kevin Dick. New tires are going to make a huge difference. But man alive, deciding when you're going to come down and get them is going to be the big-time key here, especially with having no yellows. I would imagine it kind of makes the math easy. Just split the race up into thirds at that point.
I mean, if you're going to split it in thirds, then I'd say the pit window's starting to open now. Maybe lap 40, we could see people come in.
Yeah, lap 39 would be, 39 is the number to make it a 3-stop or 2-stint. Yeah. 3-stint, 2-stop race.
3-stint, 2-stop.
Math hard, especially when you don't have a teleprompter in front of you.
You know, we should upgrade NRN HQ with one of those.
Oh my goodness. This job is
This is when I get the dirty looks. This is when I get the dirty looks from your wife.
That is exactly right. New race leader off of turn number 2, going to be Johnny Avila coming around Kevin Dick. Last lap, 31.921 for Johnny Avila. For Daniel Pinkston, a 31.5. So yeah, you're talking a half second on tires here.
Next time they come off of turn 4, watch the way the two of them exit the corner. Johnny Avila runs the car very straight, almost head on into the wall, and then kind of turns. Where Kevin Dick is really forcing the car and trying to exit in between the middle line and high line.
Oh, Max Williams does it again. Woo.
Almost running through his tire tracks from the first time.
That's impressive.
That is precision.
Yes. Big difference between accuracy and precision. Troy Haight, by the way, battling Will Worcester here. That's the fight we're watching here, the battle for 5th and 6th. It's the tightest battle on the racetrack, as Johnny Avila's opened up about a half second on Kevin Dick.
The difference between accuracy and precision is hitting the same star on the wall twice. Accuracy is not hitting it at all.
Yes. That is absolutely correct, by the way. Now, is there an advantage to maybe trying a true overcut here and saying, I'm going to go until the fuel runs out, whether that's lap 40, 45, 50, or 60? I don't think you can't make it a one-stop race, but is there an advantage to trying to milk that maybe to lap 45 if you can do it?
Maybe if your name's Johnny Avila and you're really saving your stuff real well, but I don't see it. You're going to lose too much on the junk tires. In the pits is about 40 seconds. So if you're losing 2 seconds, 3 seconds a lap, that's 10, 11 laps, 12 laps, and you're just about dead even. So if you're going to try and push it another 20, I don't see the math working out.
Oh, Max Williams did it again. Another slight off track. Let's take a look here and see what happened to Max. Oh, wow, that one was big.
You should start playing Britney Spears. Oops, I did it again. I promise to never sing on this channel.
I don't know who's worse, you or James Watson, but good Lord. One thing we will not win is a talent show, that's for sure. Waiting for our leaders to come down pit road, working lap number 41. already a little bit later than we expected to see some cars down pit road. I would think if you're Andrew Moore, Hunter Waters, Brad Allison, kind of back 8th, 9th, 10th, why try to extend the run if you know you're losing time one way or the other? I would think an off strategy call would be the play at some point.
I mean, yeah, if nobody's pit yet, I'd almost say try it. Try pitting now and see what happens.
Although we did hear Johnny Avila talk about the tires kind of leveling off. Like they started to fall off the cliff at lap, 20 or 22. But by the time you got to lap, there wasn't a ton of difference between lap 30, 35, 40, and 45. I guess you're really not giving up all that much at that point.
The problem is when tires level off like that, is they fall off a cliff, and you don't know when that cliff is going to come. It comes suddenly out of nowhere, usually right when you're in the mid-corner. Murphy's Law says it's at the worst possible moment. Just like Andrew Moore right there. You don't want that to happen. So, if you've been beating the crap out of your equipment, I'd play it safe and start thinking about pitting pretty soon. If you've been taking it nice and easy, you know you can push it a little farther, then go for it. But the only one who knows how they've been treating their equipment is the driver themselves in the cockpit and their crew chief if they've got one.
Yeah, and taking a look at the weather conditions here, 67 degrees ambient, only an 82-degree track temperature, under partly cloudy skies. Not really the kind of track temperatures that you would see eating tires a ton. It's not like we had an Ezra IndyCar race at Sonoma with a track temp of 125. The cars were almost uncontrollable at that high of a track temperature. You're down in the low 80s, kind of what you would expect to see in terms of tire wear. Not anything special anyway. I'm really kind of surprised that we haven't seen anybody want to come down pit lane yet. Unless, and here's the big caveat to that, if you can make it to lap 60, then it becomes a one-stop race, and you've got an extra set of tires if we have a late yellow.
That's a gamble, though. Are you going to be able to control your car for 60 laps at a time? I know these guys are good, but that's almost asking superhuman levels of driving.
Yeah, that's an entirely different level of car control. Interesting to see here, Johnny Avila has opened up a 2-second lead on Kevin Dick. Colton Harvey, Tyler Seville are closing in quickly on the 52. Dick not falling off as much as we saw in the previous races at these mile and a halves. Not necessarily a good thing, though, because we're still seeing the fall off here. Tyler Seville's done a great job of saving the tires. I wonder if he is kind of playing a very, very long-term strategy game.
Yeah, it's uncharacteristic for him to be kind of just sitting back. Maybe not, because he's always there at the end. I don't think we talk about him much in the early stages of the race just because he does tend to save his stuff really well. Either that or he's taken out in an early incident, but he's had a good season so far. Unfortunately, the hurricane took him out of the points a little bit, but he's still up there fighting for it.
Yeah, and the thought just keeps coming to mind that when you ask any of the Will Worsler racing guys, even Johnny Avila, who's a multi-time champion of this series, he's going to tell you that Tyler Seville is the guy that's best at being easy on equipment. I'm really interested to see how this shakes out over the long run. Being 50 laps into this, I'm thinking I've got to try to go another 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 10 more laps, only 15 more miles. that's a daily commute in the morning. So you've made it this far. As long as there's fuel in the tank, just send it.
Yeah, like I said, I am truly surprised that we haven't seen anybody try that off strategy game. Now, I guess the question becomes, can you make up the 40 seconds that you're going to lose on pit lane? You're talking about you're losing more than a lap at that point if you make a pit stop under pit.
And not only that, are you losing more than that by staying out in these old tires?
Ooh, wow. That was a moment for Kevin Dick off of turn 4. Tyler Seville's going to capitalize. He'll have position number 2 by the time they get to turn 1.
And that's what I was talking about in the earlier race. Sit back, leave yourself close enough to where if that door swings open for a split second, you can dive on in and get it.
Coming up on the lap car of Joshua Morris here off of turn 4. Wow, another big save for Kevin Dick. Colton Harvey was working the lap traffic at the time, so he's not able to capitalize. And the gap is closing to the race leader as well. Tyler Seville making up ground ever so slightly, lap on lap. But at this point, only sitting about 3 and change seconds back of the race leader. I'll tell you what, the strategy on this one, I am absolutely shocked at, quite frankly. I mean, unless you could really go like 60 or 65 laps. Because at this point, the one thing that these guys don't want to see is a caution flag. Yes, it's going to give you the pit stop and you'll have it to the end, but if you could make it to lap 61 on fuel or 62, now you're not going to be able to make the end of the race without a splash and dash. Absolutely going to make things interesting here.
You know, no, if you pit at lap 60, you'll be able to make it to the end.
Correct. I'm saying a caution flag now is what hurts.
Oh,
them.
yeah.
You would be a lap and a half short.
And Murphy's Law says the caution is going to come out right now.
Well, that's...
I was really hoping that graphic would turn yellow right when I said now. It ruined the whole setup.
Yes, it did.
And now. I don't think these guys are going to wreck. These guys are too good.
Patrick asks for cautions the same way he tries to pick up a girl. Now. Oh,
cheers,
my
bud.
Goodness. Yes, enjoy the Warsteiner or whatever it is you have over there.
I'm finished with it, and I've got no more. They only sell them in a 4-pack.
I was going to say, the NRN worldwide headquarters are currently out of beer as well.
I meant to pick up some on my way here, and I just didn't have time. I mean, I cut it close on time as it was.
So, let's see. These guys are pretty close, but how about Troy Haight having a look inside of Will Wursler for the 5th position? as we are going to be down to 1 lap to go here in stage number 2, next time by the start-finish line. So Troy Haight going to move up in the standings. We'll see if Hunter Waters is going to be able to get anything done. Man, you can see the tail ends of these cars just wanting to step out in a big way.
These guys know we're at lap 60 now. They can put new rubber on them.
Well, no, they got to wait till 61 because this is the end of stage number 2. Off of turn number 4, green and white checkered flag will go in the air, and Johnny Avila going to pick up the win in stage number 2.
Smoke, and we're going to get a stage 2 caution, I think. There's a car stopped in the infield.
See. Nope, Tony Patton able to clear the racetrack.
Oh, man.
So Johnny Avila picking up the win in stage number 2. Let's take a look at what happened to Tony Patton. Oh, and a big hit down the front straightaway as well.
You saw the rear bumper of that car go flying. The left rear tire's all whacked out of shape. I think that car's done for tonight.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Will Worsler's got a handful right now as well. And here comes Kevin Dick down pit lane. First of the leaders to come in and stop is going to be the 52 of Kevin Dick, Max Williams, Tim Knott on pit lane as well. Working lap number 62. Kevin Dick hits the marks. Well, did he slide through? Nope. Crew around to the right-hand side of the custom paints diecast number 52. Pit work done, completed. He is down and away. 15.4 seconds, the time of the stop. Pick up Troy Haight in the number 28 as he works his way down the pit lane. Mike McConville battling with Hunter Waters for the 4th position. This really is a spot, Patrick, where if you wanted to, you can really gain, if you're able to do it, this is a great chance to gain some time here. As we see Hunter Waters heading down pit lane this time, let's pick up the stop here for the 7. Troy Haight down and away off of pit lane, 15.60 seconds, the time of the stop for the number 28. Patrick Desaulnier on pit road as well.
Now, what are those blue lines in the pit boxes for? Are those for the IndyCar
pit
stalls?
Yes, that's the IndyCar pit stalls.
Now, do they use a bigger pit stall than NASCAR does?
Yeah, pretty significantly, actually. It is as we have Tyler Seville, Mike McConville, Andrew Moore Jr. on pit lane, by the way. Yes, the pit
Tyler
boxes.
Seville putting fresh rubbers on his cocktail machine.
I see what you did there. Race leader Johnny Avila on pit lane at lap number 65. Seville down and away. Colton Harvey going to follow the leader onto pit lane. Yes, the IndyCars have a longer pit box. They also have no-fly zones in their pit boxes as well. You'll kind of see the dashed lines a little bit there that come off the angle. That is where crew and equipment is not allowed to be as a safety precaution, just because those cars don't really turn all that well with the small steering wheels and all. Will Worsler staying out on the racetrack. He's banking on a caution. We'll see if he's going to get it, but he's gone to now lap number 66. And now Worsler going to come down pit lane. How about it? Kevin Dick coming around Johnny Avila.
Johnny Avila. Oh, man. Things are getting spicy. That short pit seems to be working pretty well. Tyler Seville closing the gap on Avila now, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kevin Dick picking up the race lead, stopping 4 laps sooner than Johnny Avila did. Avila now going to have to contend with Tyler Seville as they come past team boss Will Worsler, who is on pit lane. And this looks like there may be a penalty for Will Wursler. Time of the stop now over 33 seconds. That is an absolute race killer for Will Wursler at this point. Actually, he's even over 53, 54, 55 seconds. Down and away, 55.8 seconds. Speeding on pit lane penalty for Will Wursler. Kevin Dick going to lead an oh-so-nice lap number 69. Colton Harvey setting a new fastest lap of the race at 30.31 seconds. Oh, man, Brad Allison goes even faster, 30.28 the lap time for the 03. We haven't talked about Brad much tonight. We'll get you a look at that car. Still running that Dale Earnhardt throwback S-ish paint scheme. It's kind of growing on me.
I think he's just going to keep running it every week until we give him an award.
Yeah, no paint scheme awards this week, though. Johnny Avila battling Tyler Seville. That's the fight that we're picking up here as they turn lap number 71. So both stages are in the books. It is a straight fight to the finish from here. And barring a caution, we will not see these drivers on pit lane again. Kevin Dick stopping at lap number 61. Johnny Avila at lap 65. I'm knocking on wood saying this, but I'll tell you what, Patrick. The Sim Racers Club guys are always good at giving us a lot of green flag action on the racetrack.
Yeah, other series, especially when it comes to NASCAR series, it's caution after caution. You've got guys fighting each other, yelling at each other. I mean, go down to your local short track. Go down to Bowman Gray. You'll see exactly what most NASCAR leagues are like. Sim Racers Club is awesome. If there's an incident in race, one of the admins is always like, hey, we made a bad call. You know, let's talk about it. Let's make sure this doesn't happen again in the future. Everyone here is civil. They're all friends with each other. You can go out there and take someone out, which just doesn't happen. But you can do that. And everyone would be apologizing, having a good time. They really have a club atmosphere here where everyone is just here to have fun.
Yeah,
and it's amazing because there's big money prizes on the line. Usually you put money in front of a bunch of race car drivers and they're all at each other's throats trying to kill each other for it.
Yeah, that's something that, quite frankly, is the downfall of a lot of leagues, is when you start putting money on the line. I can remember, and I'm going to show my age here, when you had dial-up internet and you had to get a whole group of guys that it was basically people that you knew. And everybody would dial into the lobby at the same time, and that's how you would run an online race. If you wanted to run a league, it was like lots of coordination and effort to make that happen.
Now,
Plus
you're
the speeds of
probably old
dial-up.
You're probably old enough to remember. It's a little before my time. Do you remember the Hawaii servers on NASCAR Racing? The original NASCAR Racing?
Yes. Occasionally ran in those Hawaii servers.
Really? That $200 a race to your ISP?
Yes. Well, okay, no, it was to your phone bill. You just dialed in. You were calling Hawaii. Yes, the phone bill.
Which was a long distance call.
Mom and Dad did not like the phone bill when I was when we would run those races. And the other thing was, you didn't have the tech that you have now. If you had a control device, it was probably a joystick. It wasn't even the old kind of belt drive wheels or the gear drive wheels that we had. That came later on.
I believe there was 1 or 2 companies making wheels that time. They were non-force feedback. I'd love to add one to my vintage collection of weird old computer stuff. But non-force feedback, a Logitech Momo blows them out of the water.
Yes.
And that was top of the line. Like, they were junky little plastic things, and they'd cost you an arm and a leg.
Yeah, it was, I'm not going to call it the good old days. It was definitely an adventure trying to drive these things with a keyboard.
Now, if we go a little bit later in the sim racing history, we go to Grand Prix Legends. There was a guy who was making a force feedback shifter. It was just a one-off kind of in your garage project, and it still does not work with iRacing. He got it working with Grand Prix Legends. iRacing will not give the data out to get a force feedback shifter to work. Like, if you went to go shift and car didn't want to shift, it would shake the shifter, wouldn't let it go into the gate.
Oh, one car big into the wall. That's going to be the 19.
Oh, man.
Thomas Wilhite pounds the inside safer barrier. The left front is not turning.
Spinning. It's junk.
Used up. Energy Products, number 19, Chevrolet Camaro.
Well, it came into the track on a trailer. A full enclosed trailer, good old race car, and it's leaving going on a flatbed to Dale Earnhardt's farm, I can tell you that much.
Yes, the race car graveyard. By the way, the lead's sitting at 2.2 seconds for Kevin Dick over this fight between Johnny Avila, Tyler Seville, and Colton Harvey. Still 37 laps to go. Kevin Dick leading 48 laps so far this evening. Johnny Avila's led the other 32. Taking a look at the hard charger and biggest losers of the night, Hunter Waters up 12 positions. He's going to be your hard charger to this point in the race. And by a pretty wide margin as well. Andrew Moore Jr. is up 7 spots. Tony Patton going to be the big loser as of right now, down 8 positions. And that car is out of the race. Only battle on the racetrack right now is this fight for second, third, and fourth. Not sure that Tyler Seville's making up any ground. Colton Harvey kind of hanging out there as well. The lap averages are really pretty crazy. Johnny Avila for the 15-lap average, 31,005. Tyler Seville, 31,003. Colton Harvey at a 30.844. So he is quicker over the 15-lap average by about 0.2 over Avila and Seville. I kind of wonder if he's just hanging out here. You know, the likelihood is that Kevin Dick is going to fall back to you. Do you just hang out here and kind of wait for the festivities to start? Oh, man, one car banging off the outside wall. Trying to get a look at who that one was. Oh, and a huge hit for Richard Fletcher as well. Good Lord. Caution is out. Fletcher dives down to the inside. Gets the car back under control. Just in front of the race leader. But then the car starts to get a little squirrely. Tries to correct it and comes right back up in front of Johnny Avila, Tyler Seville, and Colton Harvey.
Excellent awareness by those three. Just dive it to the inside, avoid the car barreling towards the outside. We get our first caution of the night.
First caution of the night, and it comes at an interesting point in this race. The drivers all have one set of tires left. They've done anywhere from 19 to 23 laps on this set of tires. Do you pit now, take the set of tires, or do you want to have it for later in the race?
With how long we've run green, I say take them now.
Let's see who's going to come down pit lane. Your top 4 will come down. In fact, it looks like everybody going to come down pit lane up to 8th place Andrew Moore Jr. Oh, now Moore is going to be down pit lane, as is Brad Allison, Max Williams. Everybody on the lead lap is on pit lane. So with 32 laps to go, this is going to be the shootout to the end of the race here. Run off a pit lane, and how about it? Johnny Avila beats Kevin Dick off of pit lane. 14.7 seconds stop for the 63 crew, 15.2 for Kevin Dick. That half a second is what got Johnny Avila the race lead. Hunter Waters with a great strategy call to this point in the race. He is up 14 positions to run in 5th. But Johnny Avila going to be your race leader. Looks like Will Wursler is back on pit lane. And we will have a handful of cars that will get the wave around. That will include the 22 of Daniel Pinkston. Actually, looks like that's going to be the only car to get the wave around. I guess at this point in the race, Patrick, you're down to 30-ish laps to go. We'll be at 29 or so to go when we get the green flag. You can't quite go, 110%, but you got to be at least a little bit comfortable knowing you only have to go a little further than the last stint on tires, and it's nowhere close to going a full stint.
Yeah, you can push it a lot harder now, and I think we can see someone like Johnny Avila really get a good jump, get away from the field at this point. I know Kevin Dick will be right on him. I don't know if Seville has the short run speed to get him. He's been really, really good on the long run tonight, but he's kind of just been sitting there hanging back, not very aggressive on the short runs.
Well, I don't think we've seen everything yet from Tyler Seville either. By the way, nice job by iRacing to show the animated caution lights they have there at Texas. Maybe one of the last races we see here for the Sim Racers Club at this configuration. They just blew the place up not too long ago to change turn number 1 and 2. Sounds like there's going to be a big reconfiguration to the Texas Motor Speedway coming up here in the near future. Auto Club Speedway undergoing a reconfiguration as well. Definitely going to be interesting.
Auto Club disappoints me.
Yes.
For the money they're putting in the Auto Club, they could have bought Irwindale and made that into a much nicer facility.
And Irwindale's a great facility, too. It's one of the better short tracks you'll ever see.
I believe Irwindale is closing now, too. Although they've announced Irwindale is closing like Mark Martin announces retirements. So,
yes.
We still have another 7 years of Irwindale at this rate.
Irwindale is... just seeing the comment from earlier in the race here from Richard Smith. Hopefully we'll be able to get that one up here in a moment. But green flag goes back in the air. Great jump for Johnny Avila. Tyler Seville looking inside of Kevin Dick into turn number 1. Lap number 89 is on the board. What the heck? We haven't done one of these since the opening start of the race. They come off at turn 4. Let's give you all at home a chance to crank it up. Everything's starting to settle out, and Kevin Dick is shuffling back all the way to the 5th position. Colton Harvey wants a piece of Johnny Avila. Mike McConville battling with Kevin Dick. Tyler Seville's going to be right there as well. Fantastic battle here at the front of the field. Be 26 laps to go this time by the flag stand. Will Worsler, by the way, back on the lead lap, up to the 9th position. So good recovery there for Will Worsler after the pit road speeding penalty. Here's McConville looking inside of Hunter Waters. New fastest lap of the race belongs to Tim Knott, 30.096. And Mike McConville on the charge. Kevin Dick continuing to fall back. Colton Harvey, past race leader Johnny Avila at the start-finish line. He grabs the lead into turn 1 and sets a new fastest lap in the process. Man, things are getting spicy all over the place here. Brad Allison going to chop the nose off the 8 of Max Waters as Kevin Dick and Hunter Waters go side by side. Top 4 starting to break away as this fight settles in for the 5th position. New fastest lap of the race, Mike McConville, 30.073. It's only about 0.06 of a second slower than McConville's qualifying lap. I just wonder, Patrick, are we maybe seeing a little bit too much gusto here with only, I mean, there's only 23 to go, but you are going to have the tire fall off.
Yes, you will, but we're in that range where the tires are going to level off when the checkered flag flies. They're going to be level from probably 10 to go to the end of the race. So while you have good fresh rubber on them, go and push, because the car's going to be just about the same from the end of the race on. As we see Mike McConville with a big wiggle there.
Good Lord. Kevin Dick, new fastest lap of the race. First car in the 29s here this evening. 29.913 seconds. Colton Harvey still holding on to the race lead. McConville's going to have the prime position on Kevin Dick into turn number 3. Man, that's, oh, he wiggles again, bobbles a little bit. Dick has to slide up the racetrack. I was just about to say, if knowing what I saw last lap out of Mike McConville, I'd be a little nervous to be on his outside exiting turn 4.
Yeah, even if the door's open, I don't know if I'd go for them.
I'll tell you what, to your point earlier, once you get that little bit of degradation in the right rear like that, the car becomes really nasty to keep a hold of.
Yes, it does. It is not fun to drive.
That's where you get the tire temperatures up at above 280, and all of a sudden really ugly things are happening to that race car. Still 13 cars on the lead lap, only separated by about 3 seconds or so, as we're down to 20, now 19 laps to go here at Texas. The other thing to remember, nobody has tires left in the box. So if we do get a late race caution, kind of no real incentive for anybody to come down pit road. You got what you got. Now it's time to lay the cards all out on the table. I'll tell you what, Patrick, I am really liking that move by Colton Harvey to grab the lead as soon as he could off the restart. Because that old adage of it's one thing to get there, it's something else to pass them, that's really going to come into play here. As the tires, you mentioned the leveling off, these guys might be able to get there. It's going to be a different thing entirely to try to get past.
Yeah, you almost have to either force the door open at this point or, like you do earlier in the race, just wait for it to open. It'll eventually open. This is a tough track to be consistent at, and everyone makes a mistake at some point. Can you capitalize on some mistake?
Yeah, we just saw a little bit of a bobble out of Mike McConville, and that was all the space needed for Kevin Dick to slide into the 4th position. Sliding back up towards the front of the field, the gap sitting pretty consistently at about 0.4 of a second. Lap times over the 5-lap average almost identical for Colton Harvey and Johnny Avila. Avila only 0.02 of a second slow over that average. We'll see how this race is going to develop over the final 15 laps. What a save, Tyler Seville. Good Lord, man. Oh, man, Seville bobbled again off of turn number 4. Big troubles for Mike McConville. Let's take a look here and show you what happened. Look, oh, well, hold on. Battle for second. Let's go back to the live shot here. And it's not much of a battle at all. Kevin Dick coming around Tyler Seville for position number 3. Hunter Waters is going to be right there as well. Couple of big-time bobbles for Mike McConville has him back to the 11th position. Hunter Waters inside of Tyler Seville, and we talked about it, Patrick. You get that little bit of a bobble, it heats up the right rear. Now you're just trying to get those tires cooled back down again. $11 to go for Colton Harvey. He has Johnny Avila about 2 car lengths back as they head off to turn number 1. The gap will be even tighter than that by the time they get off of turn 2. Great run on corner exit by Avila, keeping up a ton of momentum in the mid-corner. Right up onto the deck lid of the 36. Harvey elects to protect the inside lane down the back straightaway. It's going to give him the prime real estate into 3 and 4, but it may not matter. Wow. Power move by Johnny Avila through 3 and 4. at the line, it's going to be new race leader Johnny Avila. 9 to go, Daniel Pinkston up and out of the way. Slide back a little bit here because this battle is heating up as well. Kevin Dick, Hunter Waters, Tyler Seville. Good fight also going on about a second back of these guys. Brad Allison, Max Williams, and Troy Haight. Haight going to have the look down to the inside of Williams with 8 to go. Battle for the 7th position. Excuse me, 8th position. Brad Allison holding on to 7th, just ahead of these guys. No movement there on that one. Get back to Kevin Dick and Hunter Waters making their way off at turn number 4. These battles seem to have settled down a little bit. Let's pick up the fight at the front. Now sitting at 0.4 of a second, Johnny Avila beginning to pull away. I want to remind everybody, coming up next week, it will be the Sim Racers Club at Talladega Super Speedway. Gary
Talladega.
Yes, we know how much you enjoy those races. Gary Godso, the team from Raceverse, will be joining Patrick here on the broadcast for that one. I will be out of the country, finally taking a well-earned vacation. So thank you very much to those guys for stepping in and covering for us once again. Hunter Waters comes around. Kevin Dick, maybe a little bit of right side romance off of turn number 2. Going to put Waters up to position number 3. Tyler Seville closing quickly. Tomorrow night on the National Racing Network, it'll be the Ezra IndyCar Series going back home again in Indiana. The IndyCar is taking on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the world's greatest race course. Don't want to miss that race coming up at 8:30 local time.
World's greatest race course?
Yes.
Most historic, maybe? Most historic, definitely.
Well, the trademark says it's the world's greatest race course, so we'll give it to him. You're going to lose that argument.
Daytona says it's the world center of racing, but is it really?
One of those statements is accurate. The other is not. Indianapolis is absolutely the world's greatest race course. Also, coming up at 10:15 in the East, it'll be the Indy Pro 2000 Championship from Motegi. Pack racing open wheel style. That one's going to be a blast. Down to 3 laps to go. Johnny Avila has an 0.8 of a second lead over Colton Harvey. Oh, hold on to it, Will Worsler. Back up into the 6th position. I think he managed to save it. No, he did not. Caution is out.
Oh, man.
Caution on the racetrack.
Whoever the groundskeeper here is must be the highest paid groundskeeper in all of racing.
Will Worsler slides down through the infield, tried to catch it, spins down the front straightaway. That absolutely will bring out a caution flag. And we are heading to overtime. Johnny Avila was about 3 miles from picking up another win, 2nd of the season. Oh, man.
Now all these guys are kicking themselves. I should have saved those damn tires.
Yeah, because you're talking a monster heat cycle. Are they really going to cool off all that much under just a couple of laps of caution, though?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. If you, some of the GT cars on iRacing, if you want to see how fast the tires cool, have a temperature sensor inside the tire. So go out, run a bunch of laps at race pace, just on an oval, it'll overheat the tires, and then run a couple laps at caution pace, just 2-3 laps, and you'll see almost the second you take your foot off the gas, the tires drop 30, 40 degrees, and they just cool down more and more and more until they're track temperature.
So how does that play into what we could see here in overtime? Nobody has tires left. You're kind of in run what you brung mode at this point. Is this a bad thing for Colton Harvey to have to restart this on the outside?
Not necessarily. If you can hang with Johnny Avila on the outside, you might be able to get him off of 2. Thing is, though, if you've been starting in second gear, I either would short shift to third, or I might even just start in third. These tires are going to want to spin on this restart, especially with the new 5-speed transmissions. You have a much closer gear ratio, and you are right in the RPM band right when you smack the gas, no matter what gear you're in. So they're going to want to spin these tires when the green flag comes out.
Yeah, this one is definitely going to be interesting. Should see the lights go out on the iRacing safety truck this time, and nope, we're going to go at least one more lap under caution. It's going to be Johnny Avila and Colton Harvey on row number 1, Hunter Waters and Kevin Dick on row 2. Row 3 is going to see Tyler Seville and Brad Allison, followed by Max Williams and Troy Haight, Andrew Moore, Mike McConville on row 5. Row 6 to Tim Knott and Will Worsler. Patrick Desaulnier going to be the last driver on the lead lap in position number 13. Could we see some team orders come into play here? Johnny Avila, Hunter Waters, and Tyler Seville, all Will Worsler racing cars going to line up together on the inside.
I'm going to say absolutely not. If this was Mercedes F1 on the front row, I would absolutely say yes, team orders are in play. These WWR guys have proven they boys have added attitude. All 3 of them want the win. All 3 of them are going to fight for the win. Their only goal is a WWR car in victory lane.
I'm not necessarily thinking stay in line or you pass you. Are they going to be communicating when the restart's going to happen in the team Discord channel?
Oh, without a doubt they're going to. But if the 3 of them are 1, 2, 3 on that last lap,
oh yeah,
I can almost say we definitely have another Atlanta incident where you might have some contact.
That would not surprise me in the slightest, and I would be here for it. Especially if we're going to start getting these cars loose off of turn 4. Yes, please.
I'd like to see the top 5 all finish backwards and bonus points if someone's on their roof.
Diggs checking in the comments here. 100%. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. And quite frankly, I think the question becomes, how close are they? I mean, do you really get one up under the other, where if one of you kind of misses the shift, you're able to just give that little bit of a shove?
I don't know if I'd want to be that close, because you'd end up with an incident like we had in pit road this last week in NASCAR in the real world, where you hit someone just right in these things. They're not flat bumpers. You'll spin them.
Well, let's see. Hunter Waters is pulled up tight. So is Tyler Seville. Green flags in the air, and absolutely the Will Worsler Racing crew skunks Colton Harvey on the outside. All three cars going to pass the 36 before they get to turn one.
I don't know if Colton Harvey was sleeping or if he just spun the tires. I didn't see the back end of that car moving around, so maybe it was nap time? And it's kind of late here on the East Coast.
Here comes Hunter Waters. He's going to have the peak inside of Johnny Avila off of 4. White flags in the air, 1 lap to go at Texas. Waters inside of Avila.
Tyler Seville's going to sit back and go, hey, boys, you wreck him. We'll still get a WWR car in victory lane. Don't worry.
Oh, great drive off the corner for Avila. He's able to clear. Can he defend the inside lane into 3? Waters right back to the inside of the racetrack. Almost makes contact with Avila. Off at turn number 4. They're close. Checkered flag. Johnny Avila wins at Texas. Great drive from Hunter Waters to come home second. And Tyler Seville going to round out the Will Worsler Racing podium.
And who was that wrecking across the line?
Oh, man. Let's see here. Kevin Dick had a slight off track. Let's take a look here at the finish. Colton Harvey may have had an issue here as well. Yeah, that was Colton Harvey and Kevin Dick. You got 2 of them backwards and on fire.
Kevin Dick going backwards. Colton Harvey almost flipped it. I don't know how he kept that thing on 4 wheels.
What a drive from Johnny Avila, leading 52 laps tonight, 1 short of the race high. That belonging to Kevin Dick, who came home in the 5th position. Colton Harvey was inside the top 5 when the white flag came out. He finishes in 9th after that contact. As once again, the Will Worsler Racing guys just put up an absolute smoke show on the front straightaway. While they party, let's take a look at your race results. Avila, the winner by 97 thousandths of a second over Hunter Waters. Tyler Seville, Max Williams, Kevin Dick complete the top 5. Brad Allison, Andrew Moore Jr., Troy Haight, Colton Harvey, Mike McConville in the top 10. Tim Knott, Patrick Desaulnier, and Will Worsler back in 13th, going to be the final cars on the lead lap. 14th will belong to Daniel Pinkston. 15th to John Moeller. 16th, Thomas Wilhite. Joshua Morris, 17th. Richard Fletcher in 18th, and Tony Patton in the 19th position. Fantastic show once again out of the Sim Racers Club. Diggs checking in. Get this one up here as we get ready for some victory lane interviews. One, two, three. Great job, guys, especially Hunter for the great clean racing underneath. Yes, that was fantastic. By, quite frankly, the entire Will Worsler Racing team. Get the comment out of here, and it will be time to kick off our victory lane interviews. And we're going to start it with our race winner, Mr. Johnny Avila. Good Lord, man. The final restart, talk us through that one a little bit here to start. You guys were lined up. You were obviously communicating in the team Discord when the restart was going to happen, but that really set up that entire last 2-lap dash.
But it was a heck of a battle there. I think Hunter was able to save his tires a little bit more in that first run, because I could not hold the bottom in 3 and 4, and he was able to just sneak his nose in there and like push me up the track. It was a heck of a battle. It was a fun race to the finish.
Yeah, you guys got to put on a heck of a show here. Obviously, you led a bunch of laps here tonight, which is always the goal. You got the finish up front. talk us through how you guys work this out as a team. The strategy kind of seemed like everything just kind of fell into your place. You had no cautions. You got to run your pit stops kind of on the sequence you wanted to. Everything just kind of worked for you guys here tonight.
Yeah, I was able to get Tyler to give me some tips because he was doing really good in practice at saving like his tires and stuff. And during the race, we kind of just focused on that because when this thing got loose, it got real loose. So we are just trying to keep it under us. I was trying to stretch the fuel long enough to get to win the stage. I'm not sure if I did or if Will beat me because I knew he stayed out on track a lot longer than me. But yeah, all in all, we communicated well throughout the race and just worked together whenever we could.
Well, I tell you what, you picked up the points for the stage 2 win there, so congratulations on that one as well. And what are you thinking now? We head off to Talladega next week, absolute wild card, but you kind of expect the Sim Racers Club guys to kind of do the same clean racing we see week in and week out too.
Yeah. Typically at super speedways, we still keep it fairly clean, so expect to see a WWR train somewhere on the track and all of us just going for it at the end.
All right, buddy. Well, good luck next week. Well, I'm looking forward to watching from abroad here. And before we let you go, make sure you get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Well, like I say, I got to thank my teammates. They're definitely a help every week. Got to thank all the admins that put this league together. You know, gives us something fun to do. And Bulldog Roofworks for sponsoring me for the season. And you guys up in the booth. You always bring a great show to watch.
All right, bud. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you there. And man, that one was fun. I'm looking forward to this conversation as well. Let's bring in Hunter Waters here. Not only is he your runner-up finisher here this evening, but he's also your custom paints and die-cast hard charger as well. Congratulations, bud. Talk us through the night. How in the world did you gain 17 positions to even be close to Johnny there late?
Well, I definitely got lucky at the end with those two cautions to even give me a contention for the win there. I just tried to really save my stuff up early. Honestly, wanted to qualify last to try to do the hard charger because I didn't think I'd be very good tonight, but ended up having some pretty good long run speed, and that really helped in that first, 2/3 of the race where it went, green that long time, and just was able to kind of take advantage of some other guys' mistakes and worn tires and found myself there.
The pickle jokes that are coming in the comments here are pretty fantastic, but I safe to say you intentionally put yourself in a pickle, at least to start the race. You found one,
Yes.
though, coming off of turn number 4. Johnny squeezed up the racetrack. You made the dive for the bottom. Do you do anything different in hindsight with the battle with Johnny there on the green-white checkered?
I mean, he's definitely won enough races, and that's what I was thinking because I knew Tyler was behind us. So I was like, if I want to direct Johnny in 3 and 4 here, at least somebody from WWR is going to win. So I decided against it. Didn't want to do that. I just tried to see, if it would stick on the bottom lane. But it was a lot of fun. Another inch or two, I think I could have put him up the track a little sooner than he would have wanted, and maybe I could have won. But still second place starting from I believe it was 19th is a heck of a finish, and I'll take the points and see what I can do next week.
Well, congratulations, bud. A fantastic show, and thank you much for putting it on for us. And before we let you go, get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, shout out Law Chevrolet Buick, shout out Hunter's Fried Pickles, everybody at WWR, Johnny and Tyler obviously had a lot of speed tonight. I think I was a little lucky with me saving my tires in between the two last yellows there. Gave me a chance at a win. Maybe I wasn't the second fastest guy, but I'll take it. But shout out you guys up in the booth. Shout out Sam and Jordan, and thanks to everybody putting on the league.
All right, bud. Well, we appreciate you hanging out with us here, and man, that one was fun. Another guy we haven't gotten to talk to a ton this year. At least I haven't gotten to talk to. Only one of the Victory Lane interviews. The other one coming while we were off air, I guess. Or at least while I was off the air. But Tyler Seville, congratulations on picking up a third-place finish here tonight. Talk us through your night a little bit. It seemed like you were doing a whole lot of tire conservation early on.
Oh yeah, this track has a tendency to have some long green flag runs. I felt like I'd have been in really good shape there towards the end if we went green the entire way. But yeah, I just picked some really good lines to save tires, and it really worked out the second half of that first run, and I was able to pick up some of those spots I lost on the initial start there.
What goes kind of through your head as you see the strategy starting to fall into place for you? Because, like you mentioned, you're doing the tire saving early on. You get the timing right for the caution flag to come out. It's got to feel pretty good where you're kind of in this boat of this could just kind of fall right in our lap.
Yeah, I'm usually really good at saving the right rear, and that seemed to be the tire that was wearing out the most here. Because I know what the couple practice runs that Johnny and I did in practice, like he was using up more right rear than I was. So we kind of compared our braking points, our lifting points, and stuff like that. But yeah, it's pretty good knowing that you might not have the short run speed, but on the long run you got them. And I don't know if we would have had enough for Johnny, but I felt like on the long run we were pretty close to him.
Well, a great run to pick up the third place finish here tonight. Congratulations on that one. And before we let you go, get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous taken care of.
Yeah, shout out for Johnny and Hunter finishing 1 and 2 there. That's 1, 2, 3 for our team here. And then I put breast cancer awareness on the hood of the car today, so shout out to that for the month of October here.
All right, bud. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you checking in with us here and get you back out of the room. And Patrick, as we get ready to wrap up here, a race that only took 1 hour and 15 minutes to complete. Like when they put the hustle on these things, that's for sure. This one was an interesting race, but now we're going to start to hit some wild cards when we look at the upcoming schedule. Talladega, Martinsville is tough. And then you're in the middle of that, or at least to close out the season, I should say. We're going to have Homestead, Vegas, Phoenix, all racetracks that are kind of right in that groove of the mile or so. They're just going to kind of fit these guys from Will Worsler Racing, I think.
Yeah, the wild cards could shake up the points, but the 1.5 miles are the bread and butter of stock car racing at this point, and you got to be good at them. You got to be consistent, and you got to keep yourself towards the top. So if you haven't used drop weeks yet, plan on Talladega and Martinsville. Hopefully you get a good finish. If not, whatever. And make sure you hit your marks at the 1.5 miles.
That is exactly right. And we're looking forward to all those coming up. Thank you, as we mentioned, to Gary Godso and the team from Raceverse for picking up the slack while I am on vacation next week. We are looking forward to that one coming up tomorrow night. It will be the Ezra IndyCar Series at the world's greatest race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, followed up by Indy Pro 2000 at Motegi. A couple of great races coming up. You don't want to miss either one of them. For Patrick Byrne and everybody here at the National Racing Network, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We will talk to you all soon. Have a good night, everybody.